out so people will see our mouths moving. But until he hits the switch, which he just did. So, all right, Harry, thank you so much. Happy New Year, everybody. We are back. Well, I should say the show is back. WNHH never goes away. Now, I had a little hiatus for the holidays, so we're good with that. I appreciate hiatuses. Just do. But we are back. It's a new year. So I wish all of you abundance, prosperity, health, and good cheer, and a joyous year. In the studio with me today on the show is Squatty, the arts guru of New Haven. We call her that.
I want to be the cultural connoisseur.
You want to be the cultural connoisseur?
Something like that.
Okay. We got to come up with a name. We got to give her something like an abbreviation, a CC, cultural communication, cultural connoisseur. And you have a new community title. So you have to tell me what that is in regard to Freddie Fixer.
Yes. So I am it's a parade coordinator, but I'm calling it the parade cultural coordinator.
Okay.
Because for the Freddie Fixer parade, everybody, please come out, get ready. It is going to be Sunday, June 3rd. Live and poppin', rain or shine, unless it's a thunderstorm. I don't know. Thank you, Lord. And also, though, on March 29th, we are having a gala.
Ooh.
Fundraiser.
Where?
At the Omni Hotel.
Nice.
You can hit up the Facebook page, Elm City Freddie Fixer.
Elm City Freddie Fixer.
Yeah,
right?
On the Facebook page. And also, of course, Diane has tickets at the Stetson Library on 200 Dixwell Avenue. And I have tickets.
And her name is Ife Michelle Dardane.
Ife Michelle,
just in case you don't know. All right.
Yes. So we have some good stuff coming. Good stuff coming.
But she's here today in her cultural connoisseur hat, as we're going to talk a little bit about Becoming, the Michelle Obama biography that everybody is reading right now.
People.
It's all the rage. But that's not the reason why you should read it. No. It gives you a different perspective of Michelle Obama. And it talks about her coming into her own, correct?
It talks about about a journey of a woman who is not much different than anybody else that became the first lady. Yeah, because I mean, she did have humble beginnings, and she talks about it. I am, I guess, a third of the way through the book.
Okay.
As I'm up at the part where her and Obama met.
Oh, okay.
And
which became a movie.
Right. Yeah, that part. And so, I just like the fact that she named it Becoming, because you never stop, no matter how old you are, in some people's opinion, because, everybody's life journey is different. And
right.
People want to feel like they've arrived and they don't have to do anything else.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because in the interview that I saw, she said once she had reached the goal of becoming a lawyer, she didn't want to be a lawyer. It was like she had worked all this time so hard, Ivy League schools, good law school. And then she gets there and she's like,
exactly.
I don't like this.
My point exactly. Like it's like the process, and it probably isn't much like, and the book is probably real popular too, because so many people can relate to it.
Yeah.
And and for those of us that are in the baby boomer.
Yeah, we're the tail end
range.
Yeah, we're the tail end of the boomers.
Because if in reading about us, like people over 50, especially women and women of color over 50, are now the top entrepreneurs in the country. Because we done took care of everybody else, and the age of the mammy is done.
Well,
You
I think
know,
too, we also are the ones who always have a difficult time the older we get at work, right? And we're usually part of that crew that's let go, but we still have something to offer.
and we still have the energy to do
And we
it.
still have the energy to
People
do it.
are aging better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not everybody, because there's still some people that's like regretting 50. When
Yeah,
I
that's
meet
true.
people that are approaching 50, it's like, welcome to the other side. Welcome to the best side. You know, never had a problem saying what my age is,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's just how you age. And it's not about trying to be younger. It's just about trying to have the energy. Because in my head, I'm 59, but in my head, I could do some 40
Right.
stuff.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? I still, and you know, and work out and do things to stay as long as we can.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you see women like that woman in Baltimore that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they're winning all these medals and
Right. The
and stuff,
marathons.
and the marathons and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
just how Essence every year celebrates
Yeah.
how women age.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
I-
that fly ass, if I could say that.
You already said
Already said
it.
That 103-year-old woman they had in the
Yes.
book that is in the red jumpsuit. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's like becoming is so strategic how it came to her. And it's so relatable and understanding.
Well, I think our point here is, you never stop growing. You never
Never
stop
stop.
becoming. And I think for a lot of people, when that happens, then their body starts to slow down and they morph into another person without realizing it.
Your body,
Because
your mind.
Your body, your mind, your spirit,
hmm
and I think what happens is people morph into that old person before they really had time to explore what it is to be on this side of things,
Or you have people that are just not open to changing a routine. Like,
True.
If you work someplace for like over 30 years or 40 years and you retire and they give you a nice pension and a watch, and it's like, okay, it should be like, hey, what's my next chapter? And some
Right.
people just stop.
Some people
And I'm not
stop.
going to do nothing. But not doing anything, what does it do to you? How does it affect you?
Yeah.
So it's a time now in aging, and it should be a lesson for our whatever, the millennial children, the
Mhm.
20s and 30s, who are, because every year on your birthday you get older.
Right.
You don't stay that age. Every Happy
Mm-mm.
New Year is another year.
Is
baby.
another year.
So
Yep.
catch up to me.
Well, the other thing is, as Michelle Obama says, growing up is not finite.
Mm-mm.
You get that gold watch, you get that pension check, and then some people are content, right? Because they've worked hard all those years,
Mhm.
and that's what they've strived for. And now that they've gotten it, they're good. But then there's other people who are like, okay, it's got to be more to it than this.
Exactly. That was her point when she went in talking about her. Okay, when she was in high school, and she's at this top high school, magnet school in Chicago, and the guidance counselor tells her, "Oh, I don't think you're Princeton material." She was like, "Well, like, it never occurred to her." She was
That
like,
she
"Well,
wasn't.
my brother's at Princeton. I can do. Why not? I can go to like." And then she went to Harvard.
Right.
So what's that little old guidance counselor thinking now? But how many times
right.
are people and this is why I said it's relatable to folks, because how many times does somebody have an idea or want to
Mhm.
do something, and because of the limitations of who you're communicating to, it
Yep.
it restricts you.
You're labeled.
You're
You're
and that
labeled.
label puts something in your head that stops you from
Mhm.
becoming more.
Absolutely.
And you have to consider the source. And that's one thing we have to admire about our sister Michelle Obama, who we share the name with.
Yes, we do. Another Michelle in the room.
Another Michelle. That there is you don't stop becoming, and you don't listen to those voices. It's like she took that as a challenge. She's like, all right, I'm gonna show this chick.
Right.
And she went to the principal, who was her neighbor, and got a reference letter for the school. So I mean, like, I don't want to give away too much of the book if people haven't read it.
Right.
But there are stories of her life in here that are relatable. I mean, even to when, she wasn't studying Obama. She was like, oh, here comes this dude.
This guy whose parents I've heard the story where she says, whose parents would name them Barack.
And she didn't say that in the book, but she was just like, oh, apparently because of his ranking at law school, when he came to intern at the law firm, he was really, they had high expectations for him. And there's sometimes when you're the only one in the room.
Right.
And so they want they feel like they want to grab the brightest and the best, and they respond, and they're like, okay, if we get him, we be cool.
Right.
In the meantime,
we don't have to get anybody else because we got him.
Right. And they had her already.
Right.
And so they had the black man, and they was trying to groom him to come to the law firm, unbeknownst to them that he was just doing it as a step on his way to something else.
Right.
Barack, I feel like, and Michelle, after getting to know him, and the way she describes their kind of courtship, like he's a man that he's always doing something on his way to something else.
Yeah, he seems to be.
So when people say they missed him after being president for 8 years, no, they are like been there, done that.
Right. Right.
And she ain't studying that.
Well, she's not also interested in politics. She made that very clear, because she said, I am not as kind as Barack, and I am not that diplomatic.
No, she ain't grew up with that many white people like he did. And that's a whole nother thing, another topic that's touched on in the book, about how we as black people have to navigate our way through. I mean, we have duality. We have to have a dual. If we want to be successful, there's a duality to our journey sometimes.
Well, and Mary Baraka said it best. America's like a house, and we have to walk through and know all the rooms. Other people in this country don't have to do that, but we do, especially if you're someone who is considered learned, educated,
or if you're someone who wants to hold on to their authentic self.
It's difficult if you want to hold on to your authentic self.
When you want to hold on to your authentic self, and if there's anything about our own preservation and culture that we want to preserve, it's like in some areas it's really looked upon as threatening.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that we are still at that place, but we are still at that place that we have to be on the defense all the time.
Yeah. And I think we've gotten a backlash of it since Obama became president. There was a time where people were saying, well, we're post Obama, so, racism is ended in this country. And black people are looking around and saying, no. We have a black president, but outside of that, ain't too much changed.
Well, no, it didn't. And I think people got comfortable in looking at him as the savior instead of using his 8 years of presidency as opportunity to create and develop more of our sense of community. Because now that we have the 45 and it's
different world,
just people are just showing their face in another way. But a lot of reality of things like the affordable health care and other things that trickle down and are affecting these poor white people who thought that
The
Trump had a
Affordable
check
Care
for him.
Act and Obamacare were not the same thing.
Oh my gosh. And anyway, but what will be interesting on the outcome of this is if, since we have all these women in office now, women of color,
Mm-hmm.
it would be interesting if or when maybe Kamala Harris runs. So we will be squishing like an Oreo cookie cream.
It'll be interesting,
He will be
2020.
He will be trumped between the two black presidents and a woman.
Yeah, how about that? And that's enough to make him probably stay up at night and even eat more bologna sandwiches in his underwear.
Anyway,
Anyway,
but this is about the becoming, and I think the message that a lot of folks should take from this, because each chapter is called Becoming Me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about how she evolved, like from a little girl to like even her cousins, like, and we all had them cousins that said, "Yo, girl, you talk like a white girl."
Oh yeah.
Like, what is that?
And y'all think y'all white?
What is
It's
that?
like, no.
Come on, man.
No.
Like, we all just talk.
Right.
And I'm your cousin. And then the chapter where she meets Obama and they start courting and getting together is called Becoming Us.
And
how they
became
very again, she was like into her professional thing in her 20s. She had just got lost because she was going to take Chicago by storm.
Mm-hmm.
She a Chicago girl through and through.
Right.
And who this little skinny yellow brother coming through here like he all that. I just love it. And it's up in the becoming part is so interesting that because so many women I know can relate to the evolution of her. And she's still becoming from what, and then it has, after Becoming Us, is becoming more. Right? Because I think like our current, the 45 now, he feels like he peaked.
Right.
Like he already felt like he peaked because he was rich.
Right.
But now he feels like he peaked. I'm king of the world.
Right.
And when you have that mentality, you have limitations on how you perceive and navigate through the world and how you
deal with people
and how you deal with people, because you're limited.
Right.
And we all have to be becoming, because there's a whole bunch of people in the world.
Well, not only that, but it's about humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about being human, or as I have heard it said, personhood. It is about personhood. Mm-hmm. Because I think in the midst of all of this, there's something that doesn't click on that recognizes us as being human beings. And so somewhere in there, you have all of these things ahead of you, all these layers, and all of that's put before you without realizing the person, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm walking down the street and the people clearly see me coming and they don't move. Mm. Now, and then we'll get back to the book, but my grandmother would have been like, she would have killed me just because she felt like that was rude.
Yeah, for no reason.
For no reason.
For no reason.
And part of it too is, again, being well-mannered gets you past white folk, right? Back in their day, you use manners, you get around obstacles. Because if you didn't, or somebody perceived you not having manners, even if you did, you could lose your life. So my grandmother's thing was like, manners, 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 mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when I run into these people and they see me and they don't move, The Bridgeport kid in me is saying a whole different thing. But the grown woman who has to come back up here and do a show is like, okay, say excuse me as loud as you can and get past them. Mm-hmm. But it left me with the sense of, you don't see me as a person, right? Before you see everything else, the hair, the color, whatever else. And then when I get to you, you're like, oh, she said, excuse me, I guess I better move out the way. So anyway.
Yeah.
But I think
things don't go away.
Yeah, some things just don't go away no matter what you do. She talks a lot about her family.
They are very close.
And they're very close.
She came from a family that was very close. Her parents, she was the one that challenged it. What I like is that she called her grandfather Southside. Her grandfather, when she went to her grandfather's house, like music was playing, and chicken was frying. It was like, the
Southside,
the southern culture up in there
in Chicago.
But then she had her Aunt Robbie, who was her piano teacher, Miss Prim and Proper,
mm-hmm.
and was the piano teacher for Black people in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her concert, and Miss Robbie had her piano concerts downtown. And I forgot what the name of the hall was, but some nice hall. So it's like it's a lot of familiarities.
Mm-hmm. Commonalities
in this book, because when I'm reading it, and it was relatable to me because of just taking me back to parts of my family in the 60s,
mm-hmm.
70s, and
mm-hmm.
evolving, and how some of your relatives are like,
mm-hmm.
and some of your relatives are like, oh, they think they better,
right?
Because they don't. But her parents rented from her aunt. They didn't own a house till the aunt passed and passed the house on
to them. Yeah, which is again a commonality.
And when she got, and just like now, because a lot of us have the millennials at home,
right,
who came out of college. When she got out of college, she moved in the apartment upstairs,
right, until she could
get out her own. And it was all good. Bought her a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the apartment upstairs, but she still went through her mama house.
Right.
To talk to her parents because they're very close. So you understand why she brought her mother with her.
Yeah, because she says, Oprah says, you say your parents invested in you. They didn't own their own home. They didn't have vacations. Her mother didn't go to the hairdresser. She didn't buy herself new clothes. Her father was a shift worker, and she could see the sacrifice. She says, that for all that they did, they never guilt tripped the kids,
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
It was
because
their struggle together.
Right.
So, and I have to say again, there are, and I can't speak for like a whole group of people or
mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like where I grew up in the Florence Virtues, everybody's parents or parent went to work,
mm-hmm.
and they weren't mansions, and and it was co-ops, but it was like public housing anyway,
mm-hmm.
like Black people living together.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had a lot, but we had a community. And there was we didn't feel so poor.
Right.
If you even we didn't feel the struggle.
Right. I was going to say, even
much.
if you felt that way.
And like I said, I can't speak for everybody's family.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see my neighbors and friends that I grew up with, everybody has come out of that.
Yeah.
Like, are fairly successful people and doing well. And so it says something to our foundation of how we were becoming.
Yes. And I think a lot of times, it's not that we forget it, but we don't have a clear picture of it until way late in the game, right?
A clear appreciation. I think it's an appreciation that that we have to evolve to.
Yeah.
And then there's so much, because there's a lot you don't know. People were abused. People were had, like, trifling stuff happening in their families and in their upbringing and stuff. But because of now, I think because of social media and just putting everybody on blast so much, everybody putting everything on blast,
right?
And people living out loud, we're aware more of things happening that is really sadder, you know. But yeah, I really, this book is what all I can say is I think it's not all I can say, but it's just so relatable in so many levels for people, for especially women of a certain age.
Yeah, because they talk about a deuce and a quarter.
Girl, her daddy had two deuces and a quarter.
Yeah,
because he had one, then it got another.
Got another one, you know, and they used to go for rides.
Cool cards.
Yep, they used to go for rides on Sunday. And I remember very distinctly my dad taking us, because I was a little kid, but my dad would take us in Georgia down, you know, outside of the county, and we would just, it seemed like we would ride probably forever. And, you know, it wasn't that long. You know my father, you know how he was. He wasn't a talker.
No.
You know, so we get in the car.
He lit a cigarette.
Yep, he lit a cigarette. We stopped and got ice cream. We rode for a little while. There was some Nat King Cole playing
with the deuce in the corner.
Exactly. And we got, you know, and we got a lot out of that. But that's very much
and
a part of our lives.
She talks about both her parents smoked. I mean, and then like going to her and going to Southside's house, her granddaddy. His people was playing cards, frying chicken, eating. And I remember going to my grandmother, my nanny's house, Daddy Turner, and then holidays were like a party.
Yeah,
it was like a party. Like,
well, you know, and that's
on the stove and people playing cards and smoking. And
and I think that's a commonality, because, you know, every now and then somebody will pop up and say, "Well, what you doing celebrating a white man's holiday?" And my thing is that I never looked at it that way. I looked at it as from the standpoint of that was the only time that I saw all my uncles and my aunt together in one place. You know, it was like, that's when all the family came together. So it didn't matter whether it was a manufactured holiday. It was the fact that everybody had time off. They were at my grandmother's house. You know, my cousins were there.
Whatever culture you are in, living in, or are of, celebrations and rituals and celebrations are key to keeping, to strengthening the family.
Strengthening a family. Absolutely.
So whatever opportunity you have to get together, you know, I mean, people are tripping, like, kind of feel some kind of way about Kwanzaa because they don't. Well, it was something that, like, if you don't, Mawana Karenga out of
Los Angeles.
But out of some feeling that he had about Christmas and the holidays, created this for our community to have. For those people who felt radically about it at that time. So it's not anti anybody. It's about when we know more about our own culture, we learn more about who we are. You can present your more authentic self in the world.
Yeah.
And you like, I don't have, like, share the culture with something. You want to know about it, you can know about it. Come on in. Not come on in, but like, I will tell you, you can tell me.
Right.
We have to build, in my opinion, I'm not, like, you know, expert on this. But in my opinion, I think a lot of stuff would be squashed if we just knew more about our authentic self.
Yes.
And we respected our authentic self. And we can go to the opera. You know, there's so many, there's a brother now and it's somewhere on Facebook. He was singing. He's a baritone, bass baritone singer, and he was singing to a rap song in his car, and the thing went viral. Brother was, oh my gosh, it was so. But he was like, oh. And it was.
That speaks to.
It was funny, but that speaks volumes. And the fact that we have so many sisters as ballerinas.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
You know, and the fact that we have so many sisters in tennis.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
You know,
and
there are some sisters in tennis.
Yep. And the fact that
now.
we're just outside of, well, we always have, you know, sports has always been something that we have indulged in and done well with. And again, all of that goes back to walking through that house, you know, having to adapt.
Everybody is becoming, though. Everybody's still, you know what I mean? That's why, again, the title of this book is so strategic. And it's just one word, but you didn't think about until,
a lot.
But it encompasses a lot, and she captures the essence of that evolution of your life journey in it. And hopefully some young women are reading it that are in college or going through some kind of thing after they get out of college, and they like, okay, I wanted to do this so bad, and they get to that job and they like, oh, what?
This isn't
it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's funny that we come back to that, because I'm reading the passage where she says she realizes that you're entitled to change your mind, because she was such a box checker, as she called it. You know, get good grades in school, check. Get into Princeton, check. Get into Harvard, check. Pass the bar, check. Now I'm a lawyer, check. And she never thought about, well, what other things would you like to do? What else would you like to be?
Until she got bored,
right,
in that,
right, and driven about it. You know, It was like nothing else was going to deter her from becoming a lawyer.
Hence my comment earlier about so many women over 50 becoming entrepreneurs, quitting a job or getting laid off from a job. Or not, like, people are making a way out of no way.
Yeah.
And there are so many stories that are so inspiring, and it really is, it feels good for women of color to be doing this. Now, we still have to fight the good fight. We still have to defend our children. We still have to defend ourselves.
Yes.
Because of the injustices in the world.
Yes.
But our becoming ourselves and knowing who we are helps strengthen that. We don't have to be homogenized. And also just girding yourself up.
Yeah.
It's like girding yourself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how are we going to
and realizing too that part of that, there is some fear involved, because anytime you change, right? No matter how large, you know, how small, you're always going to have.
Change is scary.
Change is scary.
Change is a scary thing.
It's good, but it's
Evolution is scary. When you get ready to get to your next level,
right?
Sometimes you are at the lowest
point.
You're at the lowest point. And everybody doesn't have the wherewithal sometimes. People just
and they don't make it to that point,
because and again, I have to say too, I think that our rituals and celebrations of whatever you do, I mean, people talk about you know, the Black church, but our spirituality has held us together. Yes, there's some people that pimp that.
Right.
Yes, there's some people that have taken advantage of that.
Right.
But that's in every aspect of life.
Right.
There's going to be people that do that, but get what you can from what you can,
or
what you have,
or get
and
what
if
you need.
get what you need from it.
Get what you need
Take
from
what
it.
what you need and move forward in
Right.
in your vision,
Right.
and what is right and progressive and productive. And you can be prosperous in all areas of your life.
Right. What works for you?
Mm-hmm.
What works for
And
you?
it takes, we can have this conversation now, but I don't know if 35 years ago, my 25-year-old self, did I do the math right?
Mm-hmm.
Would be able to say that.
Oh,
You know
no.
what I'm saying? I don't know. And there's times when I have to look at my daughter and her peers and be like, okay, let me step back, because it's their journey.
Yep. Absolutely.
If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you.
Right. But
I have come to a place, and I had to come to that place
yeah.
where, because I remember my grandmothers, both of them, and my mother trying to tell me some things, and I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm in a place where I like, oh my God, this, and this.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
And of course,
the time
now
is different, but the game has not changed.
Exactly. Because now you've got the life experience. So you look at it through a different lens, whereas your daughter, her friends, her peers, they're not there yet. And it's nothing against them. They just aren't old enough to have the same type of experience and look at things a different way.
What cracks me up is these young life coaches. You a life coach? You 28?
Yeah, and
I mean, and not to disqualify, like, if people have gone through like
Right.
a foster care system,
right,
or they just had a really hard family life, because some people's trajectory into adulthood
it's different.
is different.
It's very different.
And I am not disqualifying that at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, can they be a life coach? Hell yeah.
Right.
If you grew up in a crack house, or your parents
and you
were
had
like,
to negotiate and navigate and get through that
you had to
daily.
live through people and addiction, and you navigated through some stuff, and you hustled your way out of it. If you spent a whole lot of time in juvie, and then you turn 25, and now you got your, like, you see those stories again,
Right.
where
Right.
this young man in Baltimore, and all this time in jail, he came out of jail, he got food trucks all over Baltimore now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't turn around like that for everybody.
Right.
Opportunities, and that's what, as a community, we have to, like, come together, and there has to be some kind of support system for people who are going through that.
Yeah, and really, through no circumstance of their own, are trying to negotiate life.
Exactly.
And don't have folks to tell them, to guide them,
Right.
that.
And I don't know if I would say telling them, but just helping them find that, because it's in your day job
Mm-hmm.
that you have
Mm-hmm.
to help people get a leg up, and they,
Mm-hmm.
out of fear of change, out of fear of whatever, are saying, why I gotta be on time? Why I
Right.
gotta change my clothes?
Right. Right.
Why I can't? Man,
Right.
how I can't? Everybody doesn't understand the becoming
Right.
in their life.
Right.
you
And
know?
and when you advise, there's got to be a certain level of trust.
Mhm.
And that in itself is hard to come by with folk, because unless and there's some people, no matter what you do, it doesn't make them any difference. They're still going to go down that road.
Right, because you
But-
can't say everybody.
Right. But there's a certain level of trust that comes into that, that you say to folk, well, listen, maybe you want to go this way as opposed to this way, or step back from this and look at it this way.
Yeah.
And folks have to trust you in that. And that's not always simple
Well-
because of the way that they've had to navigate things.
So another book this just came to mind,
Mhm.
because actually Iyanla Van Zant's first book,
Mm-hmm.
Tapping the Power Within,
Mm-hmm.
before she became beloved, my beloved. Because her evolution morphed her into something else.
Mm-hmm.
But her initial book, Tapping the Power Within, she was at the lowest of the low in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is an inspiring story for any single mom,
Mm-hmm.
getting beat up by her boyfriend, a whole bunch of stuff. Like, she just went through a whole lot of mess, and she evolved from that, and she became a lawyer as well.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think, and I may be wrong, but I think how she's using her
gift.
It just, she thinks she's become, like, she thinks she's already came.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she don't have to me, she doesn't have the mindset of becoming. I'm still evolving.
I'm still evolving.
You know, because, you know, there's just a lot happened in her journey.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like everybody doesn't. I like how Michelle Obama actually talks. She's like, I am still evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't stopped, and I'm not going to
And I'm
stop.
not going to stop.
And she doesn't come off like she is above somebody, or she's like, all right, come up to where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
She like, girl, I know, girl, I understand. This I had my cousin Pookie,
Mm-hmm.
okay, was over there like that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
girl,
it's interesting too that it seems like she was the straight-laced person and Barack was the free spirit.
Gosh, that was,
and it bothered her because, you know, she is this person who's about order and getting it done, and, you know, on this straight path, on this trajectory, and Barack's like, okay, I'm a smart dude and I can navigate some stuff, but
no, he was kind of, it was like, you know, I mean, even to their how their courtship began was cute, because she was like, okay, she went to, like, he did a couple of she had saw him do a couple of workshops, because he was, before he went to law school, he did the work in the
right, he did the community work,
in Chicago, and she knew nothing about that because she was away over there,
right,
doing something else. It wasn't her world. Like, he even took her when he came to the law firm, he was still doing some of that work for that for them, and had friends in that, and like, she was like so impressed with how invested he was in that community. She's like, well, shoot, I didn't even know. Some of this time, me and my sob over here, and I work downtown, and I could wear some designer suits now.
Yeah,
and he would go in and roll up his sleeves and take off his jacket and talk to these people on the real, and that kind of impressed her. And he was also just so laid back that she just never thought that was somebody that she never thought about having somebody like that in her world.
Yeah, because she thought she was going to meet somebody more along the lines of
and
who she had become at that point.
Right. And he was just kind of cool with it. He says, okay, so, you know, we should just go out. We need to start dating. She's like, wait, first, I don't date people at work. How about that? You know, but it's really, really, and in his mind, as you know, in his mind, I don't know what's going on, because I got Obama's books, but I haven't read Obama's book.
Haven't?
So don't fault me for that. But
no, won't fault you. It's just unlike you not to.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to reading his books yet. And I was thinking about that when I was reading this. It's like, wait, I got his books right here, and I haven't read his books.
Maybe
yet.
You should read it after you finish Becoming.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Maybe that's the route to go. So if you had to, for where you are now in the book,
mm-hmm.
if you had to recommend the book to someone, I know you said it sort of kinda
Mm-hmm.
already, but what would you tell someone? What would be the reason that they should read this book besides it just being Michelle Obama?
Because it would be an example of someone evolving. And I have to tell you, everybody's not going to get the same. I don't think that everyone is going to get the same message.
Why?
Because everybody doesn't interpret the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. Because I've heard mixed reviews about also with Gabrielle Union's book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also about an evolution, about she been through a few things,
Yeah.
and then you got to feel for some of these celebrities sometime because it was her and her husband's decision about how she had her child.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I want you to live.
Right.
And I want you to live in peace, like in one piece. Because losing a baby after baby after baby, it does something to you as a woman.
Yeah.
And how you feel. So I give it to him for standing by her and being like, look, baby, I don't want you to go through that no more. Because she was ready to do it again. And so to be able to be in a place they understand that they're blessed to be in a place to have it happen another way.
Mm-hmm.
So people were talking about, oh, she was in the hospital like she act like she had a baby. You ain't in their position. Shut up.
Right.
Like
right.
we can't, we have to evolve to not come into a place of judging people. And so for this book, like somebody may say, oh, she just talking about her life. So like, and maybe because I am I try to look deeper into any books I read, any plays I see.
Read between the lines.
Not read between the lines, but there's a message in something. There's it's purposeful.
Yeah.
In some things. Like this is not no romance novel. It's like her life.
It's a biography.
It's a biography. And it's about like, look, I'm regular just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not do something for some people.
Yeah.
They may interpret it a different way, but I think the title sets the tone for it, in my opinion, and it is about evolving and constantly evolving to see what you can do better. That's what you could get out of it. I think it'd be very motivating for, like I said, young women.
Well, thank you for that.
And I just, we still have time?
We got a lot of time. We got at least 10, 15 minutes.
Because one of the
right, Harry.
So the part of the book that she talks about her working in the law firm, made me think about this play that's coming to Collective Consciousness Theater. And it starts on January 17th, and it's called Rashida Speaking. And it's about being the only one.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
This woman is working in this office with this white woman, and the white woman just thinks she just is reading her and knows her. And it's a nice twist in the play. It's a nice twist. And even the man the doctor that is the boss of them both deals with them differently. Dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic. So it was just interesting that I'm reading this book at the time I just read the play, and the play's coming. So I want to encourage everybody to try to go see that. It's run.
When's it coming?
January 17th through February 3rd.
Where?
Collective Consciousness Theaters on Peck Street in that building.
Yep.
Look up there.
Erector
Square. And yeah, it's just really interesting. But this back to Michelle in this book, it's just I recommend it. And there's several book talks going on about it too. They just
Uh-huh.
had one in Hartford on Saturday. There was one, the young lady that works at Longworth. Forgive me for not remembering that child name. Tanier.
Yeah.
She had a book. She had a book talk in New Haven. She said she's gonna have another one
Okay.
also coming up. She had one like earlier in December, and I know they had one on Saturday in Hartford. And I saw a few like posted
Mm-hmm.
like around the country. People are having book
Different
talks
book
about
talks.
it,
Yeah.
and we have to support all our writers,
Yes, that's true.
all our writers.
That's true. Regardless of
Right.
who they might be.
And I might be on again, y'all, planning a book festival, Elm City Book Fest, and there's going to be Hartford Lit is having a book festival in Hartford in May. I think it's May 19th, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's one. And then Sister Enzima is organizing that, and I'm organizing one here in New Haven.
And
So,
yours is in the fall.
it's in the fall, and more info to come in the months to come.
Okay.
But first I want to say I'm doing Freddie Fixer Parade. March 29th, come to our gala. Support the Freddie Fixer Parade is one of the last things in last celebrations of African American culture in this city. Okay? And if I'm wrong, then you create something and make it happen. Okay? Don't get mad. But we're sorry that people fell by the wayside with it, but the Freddie Fixer is back. It's last year was the rejuvenation. It was wonderful. No, Tom Joyner is retired from everything. He's not coming back.
So you got to bring back somebody.
Well, Concat is going to be the because of Concat's commitment to the community, and for what Concat and Concorp are planning to more. They're becoming what they're becoming in the greater New Haven community, and how they plan on servicing. I mean, they have an entrepreneurial program now,
right,
on top of the medical, the coding, and the culinary program.
Okay.
They have an entrepreneurial program. Like, you got a business idea, you go through the entrepreneurial program and you get a way to make it happen. And the men and the women, because Genevieve is there as well. They know how to guide you, and they have the resources. And we have to support each other and support our own.
Yeah.
I think that as we have the NAACP ball, we have West Haven Black Coalition. Everybody's stuff starts happening, and it should be interchangeable. It should be each organization, in my opinion, including the Divine Nine people, everybody should have a table at each one of these events to support what everyone is doing. Carol Brown in West Haven Black Coalition has been giving scholarships to Black West Haven students forever.
Right.
Before a whole bunch of Black people moved out there.
Right.
It was like sprinkles of Black people up in that piece. And
shout out to Carol.
And and the NAACP, of course, they the NAACP. Right. They doing their thing. So so I feel like we need to preserve what we have in this city. Everybody should come to the Freddie Fixer ball. I mean, and everybody buy a table. Bring your kids. Like, these traditions have to be carried on, folks. We gotta keep them going. It's important. It's just important to have our own heritage and preservation of things within the New Haven community.
And so, like last year, I'm not going to get too much into it because I want you all to come back. But like last year, are we going to see different events connected to the parade? Or leading up to the parade?
There will be, yes, there's going to be the the festival, and forgive me for not. I should have like all those dates in my head.
No, because like I said, when we get closer,
But Elm City, no,
You all can
everything
come back.
is online though. The Elm
Okay.
City Freddie Fixer, Elm City Freddie Fixer Parade.org or something like that. They
Mhm.
have on the website and on the Facebook page. Everything is listed. They're honoring a lot of people. They're honoring like 13 people.
Mhm.
It's going to be really fun. It's at the Omni this year. You don't have to go way out to Cascades.
Are we semi-formal or are we formal?
No, it's formal.
Oh, good.
It's formal. You know, we need to be getting dressed. Celebrations and rituals are important, people. It gives us our strength. It whatever we got to do to maintain our heritage and strength and get out there and forces and you know, battle these forces in the world or whatever opposition we have. But we have to also show that we can do things collectively and together. You know, we got to have some Kuji Chagalia. Said some collective work and responsibility up in this piece. You know, people Ujama, all this stuff. Collective economics, all that.
And all that.
You know, we just lost, well, you know, she was at it for a very long time, but Black Print Walking Truth Bookstore just closed down.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we have bookstores in New Haven, but, you know, let's support our own where we can.
Yeah.
So,
All right. You are listening to the show on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook, as you can well tell, because I'm scratching my eyes. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent, or just go to your Facebook page and look us up. Yves Michelle Gardine, it has been my pleasure to have you in the studio. It's always fun.
I wasn't too boring, people.
No. I think that you gave and people will take. So it's about that. It's about that. And I appreciate you giving up your evening to come in and hang out.
It was fun. We
discussed becoming and like in our own context.
And everybody should read Becoming.
But everybody should read
everybody should be becoming in your life.
All right. This has been the show on WNHH 103.5 FM, NewHavenIndependent.org. Thank you, Harry.
Blessings. Peace out.
Done. Is everything. How are you?
Are you on the council now?